You're live.
How's it going, everyone? This is Blazing Blasters presenting a new game, at least new for us, Microscope RPG, a game about building worlds with your friends. Fractal role-playing game of epic histories by Ben Robbins. Players for this game will be myself, Ghost, and Sim. This is our first time using this system, so just gonna give it a whirl. We've agreed to use the Microscope.SkyJedi app to run this. And you said you were recording like your screen. Are they gonna be able to see all of our edits, or just gonna have like an image over it?
I am recording the browser itself, so everybody's edits and stuff. I'm not sure if it's gonna show what you guys are doing. I don't think there's a way to do that unless I put it towards everybody's name. But it will show the after effects and whatever I can see.
Which should be good enough, right?
Hopefully.
Should be fine.
Alright, so to kick this off, we need to start with the big picture, you know? So like one sentence describing like a general overview of how this game is going to go, how our world or universe or whatever is going to go down. So what are you guys thinking?
A planet of fractured nations struggling to survive.
Okay. What about you, Sim? You like that, or you want to add to it, change it? What do you think?
I think that's pretty good. I think it could lead to a good story.
What time period are you thinking about? Are you thinking... Are we going to start like ancient, like fucking Neanderthals, or?
I would say, modern but post-war. So it's in a strange place where, or actually maybe postmodern, maybe ahead of what we consider to be modern ages, but a bit of regression because of a war of some sort. But so it's postmodern. Some technologies shouldn't exist that do, but stagnation.
So fractured companies in the aftermath of a disaster, or war, or something, an event.
Alright, maybe some rampant sickness, you know?
Yeah, that's more of a... We can fill in the details later, the blanks. So how are we keeping this like with humanity, or are they gonna be like aliens, or are we keeping it just plain?
Let's just leave it like that, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm about that.
Alright. So what's our finalized sentence, you think? Rising from... I don't know, I'm thinking something like rising from... like the ashes type thing, like... I don't know. What do you think?
Fractured nations rise from the ashes of a devastated world.
I'm down for that. You down for that?
Down for that.
Is that our overview?
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Did you put it in?
I thought I did. Let's go over here. There you go. Should be showing up now, is it?
Yep. So that's the general overview. Step 2 is bookend history. So, is it both how you begin and end? So like the start and the finish, or I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So those are gonna be our first two periods, but these are the only periods in which we all have to agree upon. I know afterwards it'll be more confrontational, like one player's in control and just makes a decision, you know.
Yeah.
So this one we have to kind of consensus. What's going to be beginning of this story of this world of fractured nation?
My opinion on it is for the beginning of a fractured kind of nation situation, we have to start from before the fracture. Because the fracturing has to happen. So rising from the ashes would imply that that's towards the end period, because they come from whatever the muck is in the middle. So you see your ending, you start your beginning. To see your beginning, you start with your ending. So I would say we have to look at the event that caused the devastation to begin with. So obviously a lot of common ideas for that. I would throw out a viral disease that creates other auxiliary events that brought about the downfall of, I guess, not necessarily paradise, but coexistence as we know it, which created the fracturing. So I'd say a viral disease. The period before the fall, maybe just call it BF, before fall, depending on how you want to phrase it.
Right, and I'm thinking the period before the fall should be light. You know, should be a happy time. I want our people to be caught completely off guard, and maybe our stories revolve around them dealing with that, like the change in tone or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, no, I would say definitely light period, a period of continual progress, prosperity for the most part. I would agree.
Yeah. I'm cool with the virus thing. I was also sort of considering like a great discovery in that, or what would be thought as a great discovery, you know, like something that would revolutionize the world. It just didn't go down the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah, exactly. I think we expand on that when we're looking at that's
those are like events and periods
or whatever. Yeah.
So all right. So light. What do you think, Sim, for the first period?
See, I think it's a catch-all if we do like great discovery, because that could lead to anything that we need to do as for the fracturing, right?
Yeah.
You know, great discovery, found a way to dig to the center of Earth, and these viruses or whatever else have you. You know, so I mean, great discovery is a good one to start from.
So start period light. A great discovery, and then it's like one or two sentences, you know. So how do we want to do this?
I would say, let's see how it looks. During an age of prosperity, mankind makes an incredible discovery. This discovery could change the course of human history forever.
So yeah, type that one in. Like at its peak, humanity discovers what shapes their future. I don't know. I'm just trying to like condense it. You know, we're gonna have like a shit ton of flashcards at the end of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say in an age of prosperity, mankind makes an incredible discovery, maybe. Do one example.
Yeah, that's cool. It unites the world.
Did that change, or?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. And then we would also have to have the end.
So the end of the start period?
The end of everything. The end of our creation.
Yeah, the last period.
I'm thinking I want to go out tragically. I want it to be dark.
The end of the whole thing, like all the overview.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could say that. So we're talking about the very end period. We're not talking about the period after the start period, right?
Yeah, no, we're talking about this is, yeah, the absolute end.
So the absolute end. Yeah, I mean, I would say, because I'm thinking the middle period is going to be where the meat of things are, like the fractured nations post.
Yeah, rising up.
And then the end.
Try another game.
Oof.
I'm thinking like it's just a cycle, you know. We're
Definitely.
gonna rise back up. We're gonna unite all these fractured nations, and then we're gonna get to that point, and bam, another fucking great discovery. It just loops.
Yeah, something, just another horrible thing happening, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like, as with the cycle of life, those that rise must fall again. And I would think maybe war, maybe the rediscovery reignites people. A rediscovery of something reignites people to violence again, and so the nations unified in recovery kind of fall back into a warring cycle again, either over the discovery or just over more base things, because the ending's a bit tough. Trying to think of how to phrase it.
Yeah. You there, Sim?
I'm here. I'm just trying to think too. Essentially, history repeating itself, right?
My put forth on it would be, as with the cycle of death and rebirth, the united world shatters back into pieces. Mankind's bloodlust giving way to greed.
I'm trying to think of a phrase like the pieces that are glued together are fractured again or broken again. Something concise like that, you know?
What was fixed is now broken again.
Something like that.
Men's ambition shatters a fragile world.
Whoever, Sim, you got the final period title, so I'll let you make the final call on that edit, at least. I'm just doing it by the names, since it auto-populated for Demi Ghost Sim.
Gotcha. What do we settle on here?
So I think we've said all that. This one's dark. We can start with that, and then I don't know how we word it.
Mankind's folly starts again. Or we just kind of basically essentially copy the first one over to the last one since it's the start of it again, right?
No, we gotta change it a bit. That's tough.
Mankind prospers, leading to incredible leaps in innovation. But I mean, essentially, it's not
The recovering nations relapse into base habits, and what might have been fixed is now broken again. This signifies that there was in our middle period, from where to start to end, in our middle period there was a chance maybe there was something that could have brought everyone together, but because mankind fell back on old habits, it's back to square one. We're exactly where we were at the end of the start period. So, recovering mankind relapses into old habits, and what might have been fixed is broken once more.
So we want to go with.
Yeah, I was trying to think of. I don't know. This is rough.
It is. It's not easy.
Tragedy strikes a rebuilding humanity. I don't know. It's hard keeping it concise. It's hard being vague. While what?
That worked. Tragedy strikes a recovering humanity, and what might have been fixed is now broken again.
Dope. Let's do it. So we can move on with this.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Alright, so we're gonna go with tragedy. Alright, so tragedy strikes
a recovering humanity, and what might have been fixed is broken again.
That's out here. And whatever was fixed is not broken again.
What might have been fixed. Because this is what I'm thinking is we were there, we would have, it was going to be another age of prosperity, and something happens to fuck it. Plain and simple. Because humans are awful.
Go through, I see it.
Yep.
I see it. Oh, nice and dark. Dark.
Alright, now the next part is palettes, or it's like our little ban list or our allow list. I was a little confused about this part. So it says, right, so we all take turns adding things to either the yes or no column based on what you wouldn't expect to be there. It's like based on, because it wants us to be vague when we define the start and end period, right?
Yes.
So I don't know why we would have anything on the band list at all. Like, why wouldn't I expect something if everything's just vaguely defined at this point?
Yeah, so basically it's just showing what we have the right to include and what we don't. So, 2 columns. Is that something we can do for the slides? Let's see. Are we able to do that for the slides for the visual portion?
Yeah, there's a palette section, so if you...
Okay, so go to palette and overview. There we go. Alright,
Yeah.
So palette. Okay.
So yeah.
So basically, each player adds one thing, either a yes or no. Add something in the yes column if you think the other players would not expect it to be in the history, but you want to be able to include it. So it's unexpected, but you want it to be in there. So we're vague right now, and then it narrows itself down depending on what we include and don't include, because that obviously leads to certain things. So, and then if every player did add something, each player has the option to go again. If someone opted not to add something, stop. Your palette is done. In the end, no player will have added 2 things more than anyone else. So, let's see. If something's in the yes column, it's okay to introduce it into the history, even if it doesn't seem like it fits. You've all agreed it belongs. If something's in a no column, it's never okay to bring it in the game, no matter what. Okay. So it doesn't have to be an exhaustive list. It's just like things you really want to include. So we should start. Damn, if you want to start something you really want to include that people would not expect to be in the history, or something that we would expect to be in the history but is not going to be included.
Okay. So I'm gonna add. Do we do one for each, or do we one of?
Just one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, it cycles through.
And then we go all the way through, and then we start from review again.
I want a figure who's like you know the religious fervor from fucking Warhammer's, the Emperor and all that, like a God King type figure.
Yeah, Sigmar.
So you want a
Hell yeah, I want one of those.
prophet or Messiah?
So I'm gonna word that just like
Religious leader?
A godlike.
yeah, I'm writing God King.
God
Yeah,
King?
God King.
Perfect.
Fine. Yeah, it's probably not something you'd expect to see in an enlightened society. I don't have any objection.
Nope, no objections here.
Sam, you want to go next?
Sure, I'm actually gonna go the opposite and go to the no side. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in there, and you get object from that once you see it. I think it's something you would expect to see, so I want to remove it. So this for interesting gameplay. Gotta be crafty.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna say that humans no longer procreate naturally. That we are all test tube children, even in the good ages, because reasons. So put no for natural procreation, unless any objections.
Oh, none for me.
Works for me.
Damn.
I'm gonna. Oh, I don't see here now.
Oh, I didn't save it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also gonna put a no if we're doing another round. I'm gonna put that whatever this calamity that befalls our people is not gonna be our fault. You know, it's not gonna be like scientists went too far with genetic engineering. We fucked it. I'm gonna say just an unfortunate circumstance.
Bad luck.
You cool?
I've got no issues.
Good night, baby.
Sam?
I guess I should put a little more specific for the
Where's your phone?
that. You know, because there's a bunch of humanities gonna be at fault for, but that wasn't one of them.
Sophie, where's your phone? Night, baby. Alright, well, I think I need to add a yes just because it's getting a little tipsy there. God, I'm trying to think of something, you know?
You don't have to. If you don't do it, then as long as one player doesn't have 2 over the others, you know. So this would be the last round if you don't put some.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with yes. There's gotta be rebels.
Gotta be rebels.
Gotta be rebels.
Fuck the God King.
Science and reason. All right. I'm gonna go with no gunpowder. Gunpowder never, or gunpowder. Yeah, let's put gunpowder in the no. Not gunned powder. Gunpowder. That makes it too easy, in my opinion. Demi?
I think I'm good for now.
So,
If I just want to skip for a second while I think.
Oh, no gunpowder, huh?
Yeah, he didn't say anything about fucking plasma rifles.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I sure didn't.
Let's see here. Let's go with I'm thinking in the yes column, humans are no longer apex predators.
So you said the yes column, you said humans aren't apex predators?
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. I don't have an issue. I'm interested to see where it leads.
Homo the Genesis. It's my fucking.
Big alien men's. Sure. Humans are no longer top of food chain. I got nothing, so that'd be that.
Alright. So it's a palette adder bends.
And now first pass.
And from now on, we no longer have to come to consensus on anything. We just make changes and go for flow.
Alright.
We'll still have like a turn order, I guess. Or if anyone wants to go first, feel free to.
Okay. I'll do it. So this will be creating either in a new event or a new period or event. Okay.
Yeah, period, event, scene, I think are the three things. So like the more you zoom in with your microscope, we can get down to a scene, which is like interactions between whatever. An event, which is like, oh, there was a war or something, or another period, like this is a huge turning point.
Okay. I'm gonna do a first period event. Let's see, start period. Add event. What the hell? Is that not showing up?
It says there's one event. You have to click event.
Okay, there we go. Alright, event description. So, I'm gonna do an event in start period. This is during, so this is going to be the discovery. And let's see what's good. Check on our palettes here. I'm going to say there was an event where an expedition of the God Kings discovered an elixir. Discovered the formula for immortality. So. We're going to call it God Nectar. So this is the discovery of God Nectar and description. Let's see. Covers a
So essentially this is you declaring the focus, right?
well, this is just me making a scene or an event for a period. So this is within the first period. So we'll call it. It's just the discovery of God Nectar. God King Daimon's expedition uncovers a substance that can grant immortality, and that's considered a light event in my opinion. So that's in start period. So that's mine that I'm adding.
You've declared that the focus is start period, right?
Well,
Which
no,
means-
this is like a. I don't think this is the focus yet, right? I think
No, this is first pass. So group decision is now over. Each player gets to add more detail, either creating a new period or event. Players can go in any order they want. To add a period, say the tone is light or dark. An event, decide what period. There are other events in that period, place it before or after. So this is after people have been in prosperity, of course. And then it's on a separate index card. I don't think we're at focuses yet.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So we can't do scenes yet because we're just
Not
getting
yet.
events and periods. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So it's whoever wants to go next for their. This is the first pass, so we all get to do this once, and then I think at that point we start to do things.
Okay. So I'll go next. I'll add. Let's add a period.
Want to vocalize your thoughts, Sim?
I'm just thinking right now. Hang on. I'm gonna put in. It's gonna be called the Rise, and it's when the rebel sees the immortality substance.
Is that a period or an event? That sounds like an event.
Yeah, true. It does sound like an event, right?
Sounds like it would go over top of mine.
Yeah.
In the first period, potentially.
It'll either go on top or after. It depends on which way you want to.
It'll be after, I think.
Yeah, but Oh, we can't input, actually. We're not supposed to put any input.
Nope.
Nope.
All you, homie.
Time for me to shut the fuck up.
Well, actually, the period, not the way I had it though. Maybe I'll do it as a period where the rise of the resistance or something, right? Because the event would be what leads to it, to the period, and then be the period of, I'm thinking like it would be a period of unrest, whereas the event would have led to it. Oops, I'm fucking hitting wrong buttons.
Is it added, or...?
Not yet, type in.
Prepare to be...
A little choppy there.
There you go.
Following the discovery of the mortality substance, people rejoice at the thought of the God Kings living forever. I will also be adding an event, but it's any prior to expedition. And this is gonna be what is it? A chasm or chasm, whatever. Opens like sea level, like under the tides, under the ocean, and it prompts people to investigate. It's like a whole new world's been opened to us.
I dig it. So I think now we be playing. Alright, so let's see. Decide which player will start. That player becomes the first lens. If someone is teaching the game, they should be the first lens. You can give the lens a large, invisible object to remind everyone what it is. So, no large table for us to put a large object on. So, we just have to remember who the lens is. Declare the focus. So, I figured Demi should be it. Because this was your idea, so I think you should be the first lens.
I'm sorry, one sec. I'm typing.
Yeah, alright.
God, it's hard to articulate without. You said something about me being the focus. What am I doing?
So we're through the first pass. Now it's the play portion. You should have already followed the steps in starting your game. Out of that, we have decide which player will start. That player will become the first lens. So I figured since it's you, you should probably do it since you got us all together here. And then what will happen as the lens declares the current focus of the game, the part of history you're going to explore.
Okay. So as a lens, I'm going to be the focus is going to be post-discovery. I want it to be... So I'm going to declare a new period, okay?
Mhm.
Right? After I finish this fucking edit. Damn it. Alright, I'm going to leave that blank for now. This is going to be light. Right now it's going to say undersea chasm. Did you say chasm or chasm?
Chasm.
There you go. I'm not that dumb.
The mighty chasm.
And so I'm going to make a new period.
Mhm.
Title is going to be a new kind of human. Or, I know it says you're not supposed to influence it, but I can take suggestions. You know, I'm trying to do like a humanity 2.0 type thing. What would be a
So
title
like
for
it's
that?
like altered humans, basically we're talking like geneticism, basically, right? Like you're fucking around with geneticism. But
Yeah, because what I'm thinking, right, this is like post immortality. We've already worked out the kinks and maybe like mass distributed it or whatever.
Mhm.
So now this isn't exactly humanity anymore. This is
Yeah, it's a human evolution. So it's an evolutionary thing, basically. It's like post
humans evolved or something like that.
yeah, or call it the evolution period, where we ascend.
So humanity has shed their mortality and ascended to a new being. There. So that's going to be our focus, and then each player gets a turn in that period or whatever. That using that focus, you'll get to do something.
So yeah, we get to either create a period, event, or scene, but it has to be related to that focus. So the lens can choose to create two things on their turn as long as they are nested inside of each other. So you do have that option as well. Either a new event plus a scene inside the event, or a new period plus an event inside that period. So you made a period, so you could do an event inside the period if you wanted to.
Oh, okay.
That gives you more power to get the focus going.
So I'm also going to add an event. Oh, does it have to be an event, or can it be a scene?
It has to be. So it can either be a period and event, or a event and a scene.
Okay, so it just has to go one down.
Yep.
So this event I'm going to add will be dark. And it's going to be the realization that without death, resources become scarce. Because an unsustainable population.
Yeah.
There simply isn't enough to go around forever. There. So one of you's up.
Good ghost.
All right. So he's involved. I will do a scene within that dark event. and it will be... edit it here. It will also be dark, of course, because it's part of this realization. I would say this is still during the time when humanity is mostly unified, and is ran... while there is a god king, there is a council. It's basically those that are trusted within his circle. And I guess we'll call it the God Council, to keep it simple. The God Council debates. And so this would be them coming to the realization, each specific person within this this nation who has their different tasks, you know, whatever, agriculture, etc. They all have this meeting where their realization is struck. And perhaps from this realization there are dark plots erupting from it. So between heads of state discover.
While you're doing that, Ghost, I'm gonna go over and look at Demi's newly added event. University chest.
So the final part I'm going to put is a conversation between heads of state discover the fatal flaw of immortality, scarcity. Plots are hatched to account for their folly. And that will be what I add. We're getting darker now. Sim, you would get to do either a period event or scene within that focus that Demi's laid forth.
I gotta throw in this event. It's gonna be another dark one, why not? Basically, it's gonna be the first death of starvation. Alright, so the first casualties of the undying population, the food crisis, helps it raise down to the council here.
Alright.
I don't don't see it. I guess you type in instant, right?
Alright, there we go. Where's the beef? The first deaths from the lack of food, but the poorer classes are seeing less and less.
Alright. And then it goes back to Demi, and Demi once again gets to do two things for the focus. And it can be a scene in an event or period in an event, I believe.
Right. Can also just do one, doesn't have to be two.
Yep.
I want to do a scene in addition to Sim's Where's the Beef? And the scene is going to be maybe a nice, well-off city, right? Where there's a politician or someone in charge who's trying to mitigate the damages and appease his people. You know, telling them, oh, we have food, we'll ration it, right? He's trying to institute like a ration system. Maybe giving a speech in the middle, like on a podium or whatever. Mm-hmm. When suddenly a riot breaks out, the people he's trying to satiate attack him, knowing full well that they won't be able to kill him. And it's just very brutal, and it's broadcast live, and the camera's cut.
Alright.
Yeah, we're off to a good start.
There. Well, we gotta change the color. A bloody spectacle. A politician is brutally assaulted on live TV. His immortal body is beat to a bloody pulp. His heart beats on.
As it turns out, we're awful people.
Alright, so now, Demi, if you're not going to add another one, then the focus moves over to Ghost, right?
Well, before that, we've all addressed the focus. We take a step back and examine the legacies, elements of the history we want to remember to explore later on. So the player to the right of the lens picks something from play during this last focus and makes it a legacy. So
Let's establish order right now. So,
I would say Sim would be... Let's say Sim's to the right, and then I'm to the right of Sim.
there.
The player to the right of the lens, because that would make it toward as the last person who went, and that makes sense, the way order we've been doing. So, Sim gets to pick something from play during this last focus and makes it a legacy. So it becomes something we want to explore later on. Same player creates an event or dictated scene that relates to one of the legacies, either the one just created or one already in play.
Alright, so like I would create an event or a scene to become their legacy, right? Is that what it boils down to?
Yes, it's from this last focus. You have to pick something from what we just made, and then you can you make it a legacy. It's something we want to explore later, and then you either create an event or a dictated scene that relates to one of the legacies, either the one just created or one already in play.
Alright.
So you can create something that it has to relate to something from the legacy. So you could pick a scene that's already in play as well.
I think I'll add on a scene to Where's the Beef to go after after a bloody spectacle.
Wait, I think since this is the first legacy, you just have to choose a legacy. I don't think we can add anything, right? The player to the right of the lens picks something from the play during the last focus. It makes it a legacy. So I think from the last
an event or
focus...
dictated scene that relates to one of the legacies.
Legacy. Okay, so that would create the legacy, and then you... Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you basically pick. Looks like you pick something basically within. This last thing that we just established.
Alright, so I'm gonna add on the bloody spectacle. I'm trying to think what I want to do with it. I think I'll leave it more bloodshed. Alright, more and more politicians being attacked, no longer feeling safe. They start to withdraw from the public. Not would that work as a legacy? I'm trying to read it out. Or would it not work?
Oh, this is something that happens after Demi's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. People could see it as a, it's your choice. If you're asking for feedback on it, makes sense to me because people have to vent their frustrations somehow. It would be against people who are seen as the ruling class. So,
So that would be that, right? No, there's nothing else.
Right, so let's see. So then a new lens, player to the left of the lens, then becomes a new lens and picks a new focus. So it'd be
you.
me, I
Yeah.
guess.
We have to put that in a legacy place, right? So
Was there a legacy place?
yeah. So it's game data, focus, current legacy, previous legacy.
Okay, so it'd be current. So it doesn't necessarily add a scene then? Is that what it is?
No, I think you have to pick one from what was made from the focus, I think.
Alright, so let's get rid of that one. Again.
And then which one of them did you think you were going to pick?
Alright, so I delete my scene. And then I have to pick something that be alright, so I'm gonna make my legacy bloody spectacle.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let's see. So let me take a look here.
Okay, and the legacy could be from anything before the round as well.
See, I think we're supposed to. I'm just trying to make sure we get it sorted out to where we're doing it correctly for scenes. Let's see. Because creating scenes is a bit more involved, looks like.
Yeah, I thought it was just like RP scenes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Scenes are the smallest units of history. They show us exactly what happens at specific places at a specific time with specific people. Scenes are also different because instead of creating unilaterally, all players join in.
And role play to determine what happens.
Let me see if events.
To create a scene, first pose a question.
Oh, so we've been doing scenes wrong.
Yeah.
That's right. State the question. So, let's go back.
Yeah, essentially, like if you wanted to use the politician, right, you would name, oh, that's the character you're using.
But what happened to so and so? Well, the thing is, we acted out, so that determines what happens. So scenes are much more involved. So let's go ahead and I think we need to backtrack at that point.
The first scene was Sims, right?
Negative.
No, it was Ghost.
Yeah, the first scene was the discover. So it's the one that I did was discovery of the God nectar.
Oh yeah, this is.
This is when ages ago. Now if we're going to do the focus portion of
But
it,
that was an event, though. The first scene was the council.
Yeah, God Council.
Yeah. That's right.
So unsustainable population seen as God Council debates. So you created that, right? So you dictate our roles, but we dictate what happens in the scene. Pretty much, we just roll.
Okay, let me take a look at this scene. So the first portion of it is state the question. So it's a conversation between heads of state discover the fatal flaw of immortality, scarcity, plots are hatched to account for their folly. What did the council decide? So that's the question. Set the stage, choose characters. Okay, so state of the question. What did the council decide based on this information?
I mean, and by decision, it doesn't have to necessarily be like, you know, an actual thing. It could just be like they, at the same time, they didn't come to no agreement, right? If you want.
Yeah, it's whatever happened.
Yeah.
So, so what did the council decide? It could be a note. It could be a decision of no decision. So when does the scene happen? This happens after. If we're looking at this is the human evolution phase and the unsustainable undying population situation. This is not long after the council begins to realize that it's unsustainable. This course of events. Review established facts. So we have to look at things that are going to happen and review what's already happened, what we know is going to happen in the future. So we might have needed to do this before.
I think we goofed.
Other scenes, yep. Well, such as it is. So let me see. It's all right. So then, where's the beef wouldn't be a scene then.
That's an event.
It's an event, you're right. So then what was another scene that happened?
The politician being attacked.
Yeah.
A bloody spectacle.
I mean, you theoretically keep it if it doesn't change. You see what I'm saying? Like, if it's
yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense, but it should be fine. Okay, describe where the scene physically takes place and what is going on. So, this is at the God King's Council. It's going to be his primary estate is where it all takes place. He would never go to anyone else's. He's the God King. You command him if no one can command him to do anything. So it would be God King Daimon, since he discovered the immortality elixir. He's undying. I would say we haven't established anything else, but it's God King at the time, and it is at his estate, his council of his trust councilman. So now we choose characters. So player making the scene may specify one or two characters. That someone must play in this scene. So I would say one person has to play the God King. Let's see. Actually, let's make it interesting. And no one can play the God King. And that's the only condition that I have.
Alright, sounds interesting. So then we'd make up our characters, right?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it would be... I would say that my requirement would just be that they're high-ranking government officials. Because who else? Why else would anyone else? Why would anyone else be here? So then each player picks a character to play in the scene. The person to the right of the player making the scene picks first. So that's Demi. Yep. So Demi picks first.
What was the God King's name?
Daimon, but I banned him.
Yeah, I know that. Daimon. Is that like Japanese or some shit?
No, just weird.
Yeah, you got
Demi.
it's United World, so names don't carry much.
As United World. I will be... I'm gonna be the public affairs officer, the E to the king, or the God King, who handles making sure everyone loves him by manipulating the media. And my name will be... Frederick. Yeah, just gonna call me Frederick, alright?
Alright.
So I'm the PAO Frederick.
Alright, Sim.
Alright. I guess I'll put like a Minister of Interior. Kinda the one that's supposed to be keeping track of resources and can guide that. And his name will be Raphael.
I will play Gordon, Minister of Defense. Actually, no, they wouldn't have a Minister of Defense, would they? No, potentially. It's the United World. No, Minister of Security. There you go. I'll be Gordon, Minister of Security. I think. Yeah. Alright.
It's your scene, right? So I think you act as...
And then what happens next is each player states one thing their character is thinking about the upcoming scene. Start to the right of the player making the scene and continue to the right. Your thought could reveal what your character is going to do or highlight what your character expects to happen. Revealed thoughts are a powerful tool for influencing the scene, that you give the other players hints about where you want the scene to go. Don't reveal thoughts that answer the question before the scene even starts. You can hint or stack the deck, but don't give a definite answer. So Demi, go ahead.
So Frederick nervously thinks to himself that the only solution would probably be to lie. We just have to lie. We have to fabricate contrary evidence to the fact that we're running out of food. People mustn't know. Well, not just food, everything. We don't have enough to go around. They don't need to know.
Well, if we all look up, it's all fine and good, as long as, people can imagine food on their table. I mean, immortality has not reached the polar classes yet.
Gordon would be thinking that the shortages are making life more difficult for his security. Unrest has gone up almost twofold since the distributions have begun. He's wondering if there aren't more immediate ways to deal with the food shortage. Perhaps some selective thinning.
Well, by selective thinning, we could simply starve the poor. We could always make up something for the lack of food and fame of some sort. I mean, we are at full steam with production of food, not to mention...
I don't think we started just yet. that was just Sharon thoughts.
Revealing
Sharon
thoughts.
thought. He was ready though. You're good, man. Okay. So I'll say there are some minor characters in the background, other ministers, but this is the three players of the big time, and then of course the God King, but he's more listening council. So okay. Also keep in mind, apparently for the future scenes, you can choose to play time, which as time, you just decide very specific things. Time reveals thoughts, I guess, so keep that in mind, I suppose. And then playing scenes, each controls a character in the scene, uses that character to try to answer the question. There is no GM during a scene. Roleplay what your character does and thinks. Someone tries to do something to your character, you describe the outcome. Shape the world by describing what your character perceives and how they react to it. Introduce and play secondary characters as needed. During the scene, everybody should be trying to answer the question. Keep looking at the question as you play it. The scene ends when the players know the answer to the question. After the scene is over, you will look at what happened and decide whether it was light or dark. So we don't decide what scenes are until we play them out. Okay. If another player makes something happen in the world outside their character, but you have a different idea of where the scene should go or how the world should be, you can push to change it. You can suggest an alternative, and all the players vote to decide on which one happens. Okay. Can't change the future, so answering the question. If you think the question has been answered, just say, hey, I think that answered the question. If other players agree, you're done with the scene. The player may answer the question by having a character perceive something, do something, say something, or even think something. All depends on what the question was. You can't change the future. What you see is what you get. If you want to describe something about the world outside your character during the scene, just describe your character perceiving it. Speak truth and hearsay, thinking out loud, think secondary characters. Okay, these are all things we can come up with as they show up. So I think we should just RP the scene. So I guess I'll kind of lay it out a bit first. Gordon would come into the room a bit late to the meeting. The other ministers have already taken a seat at a large table, bickering and disputing among themselves. The God King sits at the head, hands folded, observing everyone, seeing what comes from this discussion. Gordon takes a seat at the table. Looks at the other ministers. Are things going as poorly for the rest of you as they are for me?
Don't be so vague. We're in the middle of something, a crisis that we can't avoid. So just, what are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. Shortages. Starting to be more widespread than we thought.
Well, this is obviously a perceived problem that we didn't think about.
Is it that we didn't think about it, or did we all just choose to ignore it?
Maybe. Maybe we did. After all, the allure of living forever. It's offset, now that we think about it, by dying slowly. You still gotta eat to live. How much does the public know already, Frederick?
No, they don't know a thing, okay? It's just the people in this room. Well, I've managed... Oh, man. I've managed to maintain and contain information from spreading, but... You know what they say about rumors. They only grow.
Yes, that is for sure. Well, we've reached capacity. Food, at least. Power supplies, they're something different. We can always explore new options, but food should be the main course of action. I mean, right now, we're all fine. It's the lesser classes, of course, that will bear the blunt of it all.
Soylent Green don't seem like a bad idea. Could get rid of the riffraff.
You say get rid of them like it's that simple. You saw what happened to that man. He collapsed. He stopped breathing. I could still hear it. Couldn't you? His heart beating on, even though he laid there in a comatose state. What are we gonna do with that? Pile him up somewhere where no one can see?
Chop up in little pieces and serve them to the poor. And Gordon says that with a straight look on his face.
Well, that would definitely put more food into the network here. I mean, we all seen what happens when the lesser classes get uppity. It's in the history of mankind. They turn on each other. All we gotta do is aid it.
What you're saying is, there's not enough meat. The reason he's even like that is because he didn't have enough food. He's literally all skin and bone. We can't feed people with that. We can make glue, probably, grind his bones up, but it doesn't really solve our problem.
Raphael, how much power would you say you have between you and Frederick about influencing the public to maybe sign on for some programs, send in their kids and whatnot to, well, I say kids, but maybe their little creations. Maybe one in every couple they send into schooling or volunteer programs, opportunity to make more money to advance oneself, get more food even. Could use that dumping ground for interested parties. And create a food source of people who aren't yet skin and bones, not glue. One thing we're not running out of anytime soon, it's people.
Well, as far as, I could do is, of course, open up spots, ways this figures up with quotation bunny ears. Spots for, like, great work improvements and stuff, or, but, I'm pretty limited on what I could do with children. I mean, other than, making something required for a health thing.
And what about when those children don't return? What will we say?
That's for you to figure out, isn't it, Mr. Public Relations Official?
I mean, the world is big. We say if we open up spots for mining and more farms, more quotations, it could be in the far end of the kingdom.
Expeditions of space.
The world is big, but maybe not big enough. Maybe our top scientists have discovered another planet that we could survive on, and we're training a generation of children to go out like pilgrims, space pilgrims. That could work, right? We can launch some ships into space, maybe. Make a show of it.
Yes, and the reason why we need the children is because by the time we get there, they will be adults.
So we make these programs, get kids and dummies, file in, really push these initiatives hard and potent. And then we fill the bellies of the lower classes with themselves.
Yes, well, of course, though, I imagine in order to get the people to be on board, we have to put out a fake space program. Maybe fake some steps of different footage and stuff. I need to look over at Frederick. What do you think?
Well, we faked the moon landing. We can probably fake this too.
Yes. And I got plenty of land that is pretty sparse with population, and we could build a building and use it as a studio, so to speak. I imagine you'll look over at Gordon. I imagine that could be a top secret area as well.
Yeah, we're already shooting people sometimes just for putting their hands on things that don't belong to them, namely food. I don't mind popping somebody that goes into an unauthorized area without the God King's blessing. Yeah, I think we can make that work.
I mean, it'd work well as long as it stays under wraps, right? I mean, what could go wrong? Control the media. And look over at Raphael. Not Raphael, Frederick.
Right. I have a lot of work to do. I should begin preparations.
Yes, I'll get one of the departments to start clearing the land and pushing out some of the people for some unknown reasons and get them started on the construction.
I think that answered the question of what the council decided to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Implement Soylent Green Protocol. Wow. Okay.
A Mars Proposal, Part 2.
Now does the god king accept it though, right? You know?
That's the thing. Okay. So we acted out the scene. Can't change features of bound. Make sure here. Keep in mind, you can also choose to dictate scenes, and people would vote on them. So let me see. Okay, judge the tone. All players discuss what happened and decide on the scene's tone. I mean, I'm open to see what someone's logic is for a light scene, but that's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, light for the rich.
Yeah, it's pretty good for rich people.
But I mean, overall, though, I would agree that it is definitely dark.
All right, I'm thinking no dispute from Demi on the darkness of the scene.
Pretty casual, but sure.
We talk about this every day. Okay, yeah, we'll leave that dark. And then, alright, so that's that scene, and the question was answered. So, write the answer at the bottom of the scene card on the light or dark circle. Answer was, council decides. Let's see.
Soylent Green Protocol.
Council initiates Soylent Green protocols. Dark. So, that's. I think we have another scene as well. It's the politician one.
Yep.
That would be Demi. So Demi, we could do a play out. You could also choose, as it's your scene, to dictate the scene, which would mean that you'd have total control over what happens.
Alright, we can play it out.
Okay. So then, for playing it out, state the question. So what is the question for a bloody spectacle?
What? Okay, hold up. This is a scene. Let me go back. And it's about unsustainable, undying population.
Now this is assuming that, you know, the steps we are undertaking as the council is not filtered through, right? Like, nobody knows about the space program. Nobody knows. I mean, well,
Hasn't been dictated though.
That's true. Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, if people are attacking a politician, then there's probably rumors going around. And they know that they're being lied to. Why else do they get so angry? And there are rebels. That's one of our yeses.
Yes, indeed there are.
So, I'm thinking maybe this is like a big turning point for rebels. This is like they're finally getting their word out there. It's like their first appearance, you know? A simple, not really simple, rather violent protest to what they claim to be lies from their governing powers.
So people with the tinfoil hats start making sense.
So the question, right, would be, I don't know. What would the fucking question be? Maybe I'm doing this wrong because I'm supposed to have the question before the scene's even a thing, right?
Yeah, so you could always. The thing is, we could always rehash the scene if you want to use a different scene. It's your scene, so if you want something that has a better question, you can do it.
So the question will be, when did the people begin to revolt? You know, and then we would answer that during this scene, right?
Well, we could.
What do you think? You think we can do that?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a simple yes or no answer to it. So I mean,
Or we could just dictate it, right? What does dictating entail? You guys gotta agree with it.
Yeah.
You just want to dictate this one so we don't fucking.
could do.
Yeah, want any changes or anything you're not pleased with?
No, I mean, what exactly happens in the scene?
So I'm thinking this takes place after the fucking meeting about space cadets and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe there was a leak, or I guess that would be another fucking scene, wouldn't it?
Could be, but it's not happened. So
Right. So there's a scene. There's a leak of information, and people are beginning to question what's going on and whatever. And this politician is going out there trying to calm the people's worries and tell them everything's okay. But I guess a group of people who are like, "I'm through of your shit," have formed, and they decide to publicly attack this man, maybe waving a banner with their name on it. The group of people who are now against the government because they know, or they think they know, of their lives.
yeah, because so it doesn't contradict anything that we already know, and it's using things that we have established are in setting. So rebels, and it answers the question of when the people revolt. I guess the answer is on this day. This is when the shit went bad. So yeah, I would just.
The politician is brutally sold on live TV as a moral body is beat to a bloody pulp, but his heart beats on. The rebellion makes its debut.
Should we amend the immortality as being biological, so that you don't just you can die, but you don't age?
I mean, we didn't really classify it, so it could be whatever we want still, right?
Should we though? Because I mean,
I was thinking like eventually there'd be like a fucking another period in which we reverse the immortality. You know? Because when we originally said immortal, I thought, oh, you can't die, right?
yeah.
So when we were talking about, like, you were saying people dying of hunger, I imagine it as, like, they're going to, like, a catatonic state that they can't recover from. That's practically dead, like, brain dead, but they're still beating, they're still functional, like, their bodies are still going on.
Just wasting.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up, actually. Yeah, we can stick with it.
Yeah, because they're still alive.
He
For
went
your
comatose.
definition of life, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
That's why food is a problem. It's not because they're dying, it's just that they're, you know, just vegetables now, veggies.
Yeah, the substance keeps the basic going, like, yeah. I mean, because that doesn't say, like, all your body parts will be safe forever. You know, your brain can deteriorate, die off, and your body can still keep its motor cortex going.
Yeah, there's still cell activity going on.
Mm. All right. Okay. So those have been the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And then Sim, so given what happened, since you had that legacy, you can kind of go off of, you can change that if you want to. If you want to explore something further, you certainly can. I think a legacy is just further exploring something that has happened. So, let me see if it's legacy, yeah. The player to the right of the lens looks back over something that happens in the focus and picks something to be a legacy. It has to be something that appeared in play, either for the first time or reappearing from earlier in the game. You are not making something new, singling out something that already happened. So choose something you're interested in and want to explore more.
Okay, so choose, and then I would explore it. So I can either make an event or dictate a scene about it. So
Yeah.
we have to be a new scene. Since it's between those, there's no focus, just the legacy itself when it's done on legacy phase and the next player. So like I said, this is where I go across periods and everything else as long as it happened before this point.
Yes, you look over what happened during the focus and pick something to be a legacy. So anything that was picked, that was done during this focus, you can choose.
No, it's anything before the focus in before. From what I'm reading, it's
Is that what it says?
yeah, and then the same player picks a legacy next to you.
Oh, that appeared this round either for the first time or reappearing from earlier in the game.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be legacy; it's created. So that's where it's a little confusing. I mean, for simplicity's sake, I'd probably keep it in focus.
So what would you choose? Would you choose the same thing or?
Yeah, I would choose the same thing, and then I would make a, since I would have to add an event or a scene. I'd go with the scene before, basically, the scene will be how the rebels, what do the rebels know, I think would be the question, right? I mean, 'cause obviously they thought conspiracy theories and stuff, so like what led to the bloody spectacles with the scene I'd be making.
Okay, and then you could either dictate the scene or we could act it out.
I gotta think of the title.
Even though we're not very good at this, it is interesting. There's not something quite like it.
I can only imagine watching a vid.
It's gonna be.
People are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you idiots doing?"
Alright, so the question would be, I wouldn't mind playing it out.
Okay, and then let's get the question, and then you can kind of set the scene for us.
Alright.
What do you want to get out of this scene, I guess, is the question you had to ask yourself.
Yeah, basically it's going to be, what I'm coming up with is what drove the people from being crazy foil hat people into rebels, or into turning into rebels. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it.
So when did conspiracies become realities, I guess? Would be something like,
Yeah.
we've always had, when did rumors become truth? Or, what influenced the rebellions? I'm not trying to make your question for you, just give me some ideas, because we're trying to include the rebels in the next scene, and you want to explore on that, so I guess it's got to be a question to what sparked it, the rebels have been around, apparently, based on what we decided, right?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't just show up, so it's been a shadow thing. But so your question maybe could be something about what made them bold enough to step into the spotlight. Something along those lines. Evidence, proof, things like that. So I guess you'd have to think about what line of questioning is going to create that situation.
Alright, Alright, at what point did the conspiracy change the truth? How's that sound? Not that much nailing.
That could work.
Give me water real quick.
Alright.
Okay.
And then, how did it go last time? The player to the left of me makes a character first.
Let's see. So it would be, so you stated the question, so make sure you get that put out there and then save so that we see your scene description and everything, and then the question. So it's question first, then you set the scene. So you put your question in, save it, and then that way we can all see it. And then set the stage. So when Demi gets back, we'll talk about the event this is in, which it's the Where's the Beef event, and then we'll review established facts. We know the councils had their meeting, and then you describe physically and everything what's going on, like what the scene looks like in your opinion.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, so here's the question.
Conspiracy changed the truth from foil hat to rebels. And then now you're setting the stage for where, why, things like that.
So yeah, I'm thinking being conspiracy theorists are not gonna be using tractable communication, so to speak, so somewhere along the line, a couple of them together at a establishment, maybe some sort of bar, you know.
Okay. So anything further on the bar, like?
It's just a low class dive bar, kind of numerous for the poor people to drown their sorrows away, like the lack of food.
So now it's step 3, which is choose characters. So you can specify 1 or 2 characters someone must play, and then you can name 1 or 2 characters no one can play.
I don't think I have any bans on anybody who's, not, that someone can play or not play,
So it's just anyone can play anyone?
Yeah, essentially, because, like the bad ones would be obviously the people that, I mean, there isn't really a banned person, obviously.
Alright. You can also require or ban categories of people instead of specific individuals. So is there anybody specifically you don't want?
That's racist.
We'll keep out security forces.
Okay. Alright. All players each picks a character to play in the scene. Person to the right of the player making the scene picks first. So is that Demi who picks first?
Wait, what was the first one then? If there's 3 people, I'm always gonna be first, huh?
Well, hang on, we have to order set somewhere.
Yeah, we do. Let's check order. It might be me.
It would be to the right of me, right?
Yeah, I think you're to my left. Let me see.
Yeah, you are on my right.
So I would pick. I'm gonna be the bartender. The bartender is in on whatever group, whether they referring themselves as rebels or not. He is in on it, and this establishment is a known haven, and he's made that clear.
So he's the owner, right?
Bartender, bartender and owner of the establishment you guys are in.
I want to be a father who has just realized the truth and realized he sent his son, or I guess they're still their children, right? To his death.
Well, I mean, it
could be. Yeah, our thing is vat people, right?
They're just not sex people, yeah?
Yep. Yeah. They're created some other way.
You plant them. You plant your seed, literally.
Fine. I don't give a shit. That's awesome. We're playing plant people. Let's go.
Alright, first, bartender, what is your name?
Hoggart.
Huh.
H-A-G-G-E-R-T, Hoggart?
Hoggart.
Alright, then what's yours?
Werner. W-E-R-N-E-R.
And then Sim.
I shall play the bar's resident drunk.
Sim.
What's the resident drunk's name?
Wally.
Wally.
So we've got Wally, Werner, and Hoggart. Okay. Alright, each player states one thing their character is thinking about the upcoming scene. So it's same order, me, Demi, then you, Sim. So, I know we're gonna have a serious talk tonight. Seen these fellas in here before. Know what they're about. I've got a big surprise for them. That's all I got.
Was it me, or?
Yep.
Oh, my son. I killed my son. I just want to avenge him. I'll do anything.
government keeps saying there's no food shortage, so it's getting tougher to find something to eat. So that would be the thoughts then, right?
Yep. And then you are now ready to play the scene. So the player who's making the scene can choose to say who is present when the scene starts. Players can have other characters enter the scene whenever they want. So, go ahead.
I'll say, yeah, of course, the bar resident drunk's already sitting there. And, the bartender obviously is already there. So Hogwart's already there, and Warner can be the last to show.
So, Warner is gonna knock on the door, very specific pattern. He's shaking and cold and holding back some very intense emotion, so he knocks.
And Hoggart would look over at his one bouncer, Tobin. He's good. Let him come in. And Tobin would open the door, revealing Warner.
So this is the place, huh?
Warner, about time you showed up.
Sorry. I got here as fast as I could.
Yeah, come on in out of the rain. Cold. Get yourself something nice to drink.
Yes, thank you. We'll step in. We'll take off a raggedy jacket that he has. Places it on a coat rack by the door. So this is everyone?
There's others, but try not to all gather in one place too much, as you might imagine.
Yeah, we don't want to tip our cards.
So, I'm here. What is it that... What do we have planned?
Obviously, everybody has noticed food supplies have come harder to come across. But yet, no word and no one. Everything's going on as normal. They're not coming clean. That there's not enough to go around. These damn politicians, these rich people, living life better than we are.
Everyone should know the truth, don't you think?
That is 100% right. I mean, we need something that's a grand scale.
Something that can't be covered up so easily.
Yes, people have to believe us. The government can't be able to wash it away.
Warner, you look a bit worse for wear than usual. What's on your mind?
God. We were just so hungry, and they promised, and oh God. He sort of like slams his head on the table, he doesn't want to think about it. If I knew. He sort of mumbling himself.
Come on, Lana, what is it?
It's Arthur. I gave him up. I couldn't provide for both of us, so I sent him to one of those camps.
A lot of stories coming from those camps.
Yeah, there are a lot of stories. Yeah, Leslie hasn't heard from her daughter. It's been a couple years now. So,
Has she tried to contact anybody?
yeah, yes, she has. I asked her about it. She said she got a letter, but something was off about it. Her daughter's name was signed, but handwriting was different, and the words, and I don't know.
Let me guess, everything was all peachy and fine and rainbows.
No photos. Just words.
Well, I've been hearing a lot of stories too. And you know what I think? Time to get to the bottom of it. Tobin! Lock the door. The bouncer locks the door, and Hoggart will go over to the side of the bar where you have to flip up to get behind it, and flips it up and open. Come with me.
Wally will grab his drink and stand up. Being a functional alcoholic, there's a little sway, but managed to keep his course. And starts heading towards the open bar. Come on, Warner.
Right, let's go.
And then Hoggart would lead them down into his cellar, and as they're going down the stairs, he's hitting a few lights here and there. You know, I always make a point to keep track of everybody who comes in here. Make sure I know about people when they drop in. During the day, During the day, anybody can come in here. It's a meeting ground, but at night, it's ours. Ain't much that's ours, but at night, this place belongs to you and yours. People who struggle day to day. But during the day, I entertain. Just hitting lights and going down. And I tell you, I entertain somebody so entertaining today, I just couldn't let him leave. And you hear quivering and shaking in the cellar, and there's one last light at the long end of a really long hallway in the cellar. Pulls it, and you see a man shaking, shivering, glasses on, dressed very well. Either one of you familiar with the Minister of Public Affairs?
That cheeky fellow.
Well,
Is that him?
ever wanted to ask him a question? And he gestures over towards the man.
Well, I'll be. You got yourself a gold mine.
I will play a secondary character going forward, which will be the Minister of Public Affairs, Frederick.
Thief.
No mercy. Well, if it ain't old Frederick, Minister of Public Affairs.
Frederick is gagged and kind of whimpering a bit.
Well, do you want to ask him some questions? Like, where your boy's at?
We gotta take the gag off first, right?
And Wally will go over and give Frederick a nice slap on the face. Yeah, just a little taste. And then he's gonna grab the gag out. Not what you used to, is it, Mr. Minister?
Please, I don't want any trouble. I won't say any of your names. I won't remember any of your faces. Please let me go. I want to go home. I just want to go home.
Convenient. Look at him, Warner. He's nice and plump. Obviously, he's not been going without.
What do you mean? Going without what? And he's kind of looking around.
Well, maybe you've been aloof. Maybe you've been ignoring us. But to see people like my friend Warner over here, in order to make ends meet, just to eat, well, he gave his son over to you guys. I don't see you probably. You probably have never gave up a son to make ends meet. I see somehow you're finding substance.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's more than enough to go around for everyone. Get his eyes darting around.
At that point, Wally's gonna give him a nice little backhand.
And he takes it across the face, and his eyes start to water a bit.
You can't lie to us, Will. To those of us who are living it. We see what's going on. Well, Warner, you got some questions for him?
Okay, yeah. Frederick, right? I don't want to hurt you, so just be honest with me, okay? And we can get you back home. No problems. But if you lie to me, I swear. Oh, I swear I'll do things to you that you'll never forget.
What do you people want?
Just got a simple question for you, Frederick. Down on 42nd Street, it's a nice white building. Very friendly workers in it. Right? You know the one. I'm pretty sure I've seen a commercial where you talked about it. You know what I'm talking about? That big white building.
The Centers for Development. Yes, we've got lots of them.
Yes, you do, but specifically Block 3A, 42nd Street, 3rd floor, room number 101, TAC 2. Yeah, I was there not too long ago with my son. Right? He's a really good boy. Looks just like me. Had a hell of an arm. I used to play catch with him, you know? And I spoke with some people there. Very kind, very nice. Had nothing but good things to say about me and my son, and I just want to know what's gonna happen to him.
He will be groomed and developed to support the God King's nation as best as he can.
Don't give me that shit, Frederick. I'm gonna maybe grab a hold of his hand or something, squeeze as tight as I can, trying to break like a finger.
Yeah, you hear something pop in his hand. Ooh!
Frederick, I want to be your friend. So friends have to be honest with each other, right?
They'll kill me.
I'll kill you, Frederick. I'll kill you if you don't tell me the truth.
Ain't nobody ain't no different. You just disappear.
Frederick's eyes are gonna dart around a bit. You promised you'll let me go. You'll let me leave.
You'll leave, alright.
Some centers for development are centers for development. Honest, true. Other centers are a necessity. There are too many mouths to feed. I admit there's a shortage. But there's a solution. Solution for all of us. A way for us to not go hungry. But it requires sacrifices. As with any society, sacrifice should be made, irrespective of class, political nature.
I'm gonna squeeze his hand a lot harder.
Some development centers are screening centers.
Screen for what?
Viability for people as a food source.
That's the scene, right? Isn't that what we're looking for?
What's the answer to the question? Conspiracy change the truth? Yeah, could be. If everyone agrees.
Just leave it open-ended.
Yeah, I would think so.
What happened to Frederick? What happened to Arthur? What happened to Leslie's daughter? Now we have characters. Great.
So the answer would be...
So, I'm sorry. Where would you write the question? I don't see it anywhere.
It's up at the top. It's from Foil Hat to Rebels, and it's at what point did conspiracy change to truth? And that sounds pretty good.
No, do you think it's a light or a dark scene?
I mean, it's light for the revolution. This is it.
Yeah.
Even if the scene itself was pretty dark.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's not necessarily what happens in the scene, it's the outcome of the scene, right? Because, like, otherwise, scenes that people die in are just constantly dark, right? So, I would say it's light. An outcome was revealed that is of benefit to the majority of people because the poor classes are the majority. I would argue for a light scene, despite the content. The outcome was a revelation of truth, which, in my opinion, should be seen as a positive. Now, what they do with that truth.
So we're going with the light.
Yeah.
Alright. I agree with that. So we'll keep it as is. Alright, so that's the legacy.
Okay. So, we should consider, because the next thing is the lens, so we should consider if we're going to continue with another lens because that could take the amount of time that takes, or are we going to call it for the evening and pick this up at another time? Because I'll be honest, I'd love to do it again. This is pretty cool. Now that we have an idea of how it works too, we've fucked up on camera and amended, so we'll go smoother next time. So does everybody think we concede here for interest of time?
Yeah, I'm cool calling it. I didn't plan. I didn't think we were gonna run tonight, so I didn't like sleep or anything.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we end it there, Sim, and then we'll pick it back. I'll mark it down somewhere on lens next time, and then we'll pick it back up next time we schedule it.
Awesome. So I'll call it 2 minutes, 2 hours and 16 minutes.
We should save. Are you able to save this?
I guess.
Well, as far as like, I mean, the what we have right now. I just don't want to lose what we have.
Yeah, it would be saved now as far as loading back and I have to see, but at that time we could just have 2 recordings, right? And then take edit it together as Camtasia.
Oh, I just mean like the microscope stuff we have written down.
Yeah. Oh, Demi, how's that looking?
So, alright, so we'll call it there, and we'll come back next week or next month whenever we run this again for the continuation of the Microscope RPG. Thank you. Signing off. What a fucking lame exit. God.
What?
Cut the